Look, if you've ever sat through a 3-hour board meeting that somehow magically stretched into hour 4, all because of one specific agenda item you thought was closed, well, you already know the pain. Let's be honest, some board members do not lose an argument. They simply wait and bring it up again. It's this unspoken reality of governance. It's definitely not written in the official bylaws, but it is absolutely something we all just kind of endure.
So, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into what I like to call the Governance Survival Guide, defeating the cycle of boardroom indecision. We're going to look at the actual mechanics of why boards get stuck, based on, the very grounded, very exhausting realities of boardroom behavior. I mean, I've seen literally every trick in the book used to derail a meeting. And today, we're going to figure out how to finally deal with them so we can all go home on time. Which brings us to our first real hurdle, the zombie decision. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's when issues simply refuse to stay dead.
You absolutely know this scenario. The board discusses an issue, everyone asks their questions, a decision is made, and by some absolute miracle you actually move on. You think it's over, right? Until the very next meeting. Suddenly you're listening to the greatest hits of meeting sabotage. Maybe they're claiming new information has come up, which, spoiler alert, it rarely has. Or they're arguing the original decision was somehow rushed, even though you spent 6 consecutive months debating it. Or my absolute personal favorite, pivoting from the annual budget review right back to a parking lot repaving dispute from 2 years ago. And just like that, your board is having the exact same conversation for the 3rd or 4th time.
So how do we distinguish between persistence and outright sabotage? Because there is a very real cost to this endless debate.
We really need to talk about this behavior because, honestly, it wears a very convincing mask. On the surface, it looks like persistence. Sometimes it even sounds incredibly responsible. The person usually claims they're just, doing their due diligence for the community. But let's look at what it actually does. In reality, it completely drains precious time from your current priorities. And frankly, it is endlessly frustrating to the other participating members who already put in the work and engaged in the original discussion. It masquerades as diligence, sure, but it secretly just destroys the board's momentum.
Ultimately, it sends the message that no decision is ever truly final if one person refuses to accept it. And just think about how uncomfortable that truth actually is. If you indulge this cycle of indecision, you are setting a highly dangerous precedent that actively destroys the board's collective authority. You're basically letting individual ego dictate governance, and nobody has time for that.
Now let's pivot for a second and talk about healthy reconsideration, because occasionally, reopening a decision actually is justified.
I want to acknowledge the nuance here, because healthy boards do occasionally reconsider things. But healthy reconsideration means reevaluating a decision due to emerging new facts, changed circumstances, or the need for a correction. And, this is key, utilizing a proper process involving the full board. Notice the really strict boundaries there. Reconsideration needs a clear factual reason, not a feeling, not a sudden regret over a vote you cast last month. We're talking emerging facts, changed circumstances, or actual errors. And it has to involve the proper process with the full board, not just some side conversation that attempts to completely derail the current meeting.
Bottom line, it should not happen simply because one member did not get the outcome they wanted. Let's be crystal clear about this. A bruised ego is not a valid governance strategy, period.
So, how do we actually handle this? Let's go over 4 steps to move on. These are your tactical moves to restore some finality. Consider this your practical toolkit to shut down a zombie agenda item and protect, whatever is left of the collective sanity in the room. Step 1, clarify if anything has actually changed. The chair needs to look directly at the member and simply ask, what new information are we considering? Because if there is no new info, there is no new debate. Step 2, keep the agenda on track. If the issue isn't properly scheduled, politely refer it to a future agenda, instead of letting it hijack the current discussion. Step 3 is to document decisions clearly, and Step 4 is to address the pattern directly. Actually, let's look a little closer at those last 2 steps, because they really are your absolute best defense.
The minutes should show exactly what was decided and when. Now, I know that sounds incredibly basic, but airtight documentation makes it significantly harder for someone to pretend the debate is still open. When you can point to the exact date and the exact vote in the official record, the zombie decision loses its power entirely. It's hard to argue with paper.
Remember this, a board member absolutely has the right to disagree, but they do not have the right to keep the board stuck. Dissent is perfectly fine. Honestly, it's a sign of a functioning, healthy board.
But true participation means that at some point, you just have to accept the outcome of a fair process. You simply cannot hold the rest of the board hostage until everyone eventually gives in out of sheer exhaustion, because a board that cannot close the decision literally cannot move forward.
If you take away anything from this explainer, let it be this exact phrase: "We already decided this. Unless something has changed, we are moving on." Seriously, memorize it, keep it in your back pocket for your next meeting. The next time you feel a settled decision crawling its way back onto your table, just deliver that line with unshakable finality. So I'll leave you with this. What is the biggest zombie decision currently haunting your board right now? And are you finally ready to put it in the ground?